And we have Nili Bar Sinai. She is a longtime resident of the kibbutz. She survived the October 7th attack here. Unfortunately, her husband, Yoram, did not. May his memory be a blessing. Nili, let me just start with you. On that day, October 7th, how it unfolded for you and what you can tell us about what happened to your husband.
My story is not that dramatic. We lived in a small house that was temporary because we were doing some shiputs in our...
Some renovations.
On our genuine home. So we were there in the morning and, the routine of, bombing and all this. But this time, my daughter, she wrote a text to us. She said, go in the safe room. But we usually don't go. If we don't have kids with us, we don't go there because this is routine and we know that. And this is not the first time, This is not a big...
right, you thought it was just a rocket attack, like the many that have been.
That's the usual stuff. Yeah. And then sometimes, a year ago we were evacuated to the Dead Sea also. Right. This was just a year ago. So I know this is a routine. If it comes to be serious, then I take the kids and I go with them because my daughter stays here. She's working in the Dfus, so she can't go with the kids. So this is the usual. But this was noisy, so I went out to see, and then my daughter texted us that there were terrorists around.
That they had come onto the kibbutz itself.
Yeah, and that we should go in the safe room and lock the door. And then, so I woke my husband, and he said, okay, you will go and check what's going on there. So he took his bike and he took a pistol that we had in home, and he rode his bike all the way. It's the diameter of the kibbutz all the way,
right?
Maybe 700 meters. He was riding, and they were shooting, but not that serious. So he climbed up. She lives in the second floor, and he went in and he said good morning, and this was Shabbat morning, so he made coffee for himself, and he was standing on the balcony when we don't really know what happened because she was inside, she couldn't see, and everybody was in the safe room.
Right.
But the neighbor, he saw a jeep coming, and 7 people came up the stairs, and she heard the shooting.
Right.
We don't know if he knocked some of them down. We don't know exactly what happened, but then one of them came in, and she heard steps coming closer, and she opened the door because she thought it was his father, but she saw this terrorist coming in with this bandana on his head, and she slammed the door on him, and she kept holding the handle for 20 hours until somebody came to take her away with the kids.
Right. And you were in the safe room the whole time
I
of your
was
home.
on the other side of the kibbutz. I had no idea what was going on. And soon enough, there was no electricity, no water, no nothing. And I didn't have the intuition to open TV or something because, we are not in the focus of this country and nobody's interested if somebody shoots at us. So I didn't think even that they would show us on TV. I didn't open anything. And I was... sitting in the safe room and doing some cross puzzle, a difficult one, I should say, and then I was waiting because I thought what I had to do was wait until somebody comes and finishes off. So then after a while, my husband didn't show any signs, and I said to my daughter, she lives in Haifa, she called to see him. And I said, I'm going to check what happened to him. And she said, you don't do anything like this. You stay safe and you don't move and you can't do this. So I stayed and I was evacuated only Sunday afternoon, late afternoon.
So you were more than 24, maybe something closer to like 36 hours in the safe room. Yeah. And then when you got out, and heard? And when did you hear that your husband had been killed? How soon was it after?
I didn't have to hear because this was 36 hours later, so there was no sign of him. But I didn't know.
Right.
But when we got out, I was walking. I was taken with another woman. All the soldiers surrounded us, and we were walking all the way from the kibbutz. So I saw that I'm going out to a different world. This was not the kibbutz I knew. And I came to the gate, and then some guy was there, and he took us with a private car. And I was looking at him, and I said, how come you are here? I mean, what is this? And he said, my wife doesn't even know I'm here. I just couldn't stay at home. And he was driving all day, all the people that were evacuated.
So a private citizen drove down here.
Yes.
Not the army, not the police. It was a private citizen on his own, just sort of volunteered and drove down here to take people to safety, including yourself.
So he took us to Netivot.
Right.
And then I first met kibbutz members. I'm not a resident, I'm a member.
Right.
You know, this is the difference. And I started hearing stories, but then I had no idea, not about the scale and the scope of what happened here. I had no idea.
Right.